In the 1950s, war breaks out between Soviet and Allied forces. The Soviets wanting to control all of Western Europe, and the Allies attempting to defend their lands and retake what was lost to the Soviets. The war sees both sides making use of new advanced technologies, the likes of which no one has seen before. From longbow helicopters and double-barreled mammoth tanks, to time-traveling chronosphere machines and Tesla coils. But what all of these vehicles and buildings have in common with each other is that they all start off from one place, the construction yard. When war broke out between the Soviets and Allies, both sides needed a way to quickly establish a base of operations on the front lines. Before the war, both sides came up with the concept of a mobile construction vehicle, or MCV. The designs of these vehicles were basically the same, and both were capable of traversing various types of terrain, with the major downsides being that the MCV itself was slow-moving and vulnerable to attacks. Most importantly, though, the vehicle could deploy into a large building, one that was capable of planning and overseeing construction efforts at the desired location. And this building became known as the construction yard. The construction yard sits on a concrete foundation, which is established at the start of the building's deployment. The building can be broken down into three main parts. The rounded arch-shaped part is the warehouse. This part is mostly made of steel, and is where various construction materials for constructing other buildings are located. These materials can include crates, barrels, pipes, bricks, and more. The main entrance to the warehouse are the large steel blast doors on the front that open sideways. Directly across the warehouse is the second part of the building, the crane. The crane has a claw on it that is used to pick up various large objects, such as crates and pipes. It can slide from one end to the other along the steel bar. And it can also rotate as well. It can move in two directions along a steel rail, and has a total of 8 wheels. Whenever a new building is constructed, a large crate will exit the warehouse and be picked up by the crane and be carried over to the end of the yard. And the third part of the building, attached to the warehouse, is the office. This L-shaped part is where the engineers oversee the planning and construction of the base. This part of the building is mostly made of bricks and is held up by 7 short pillars. There are tall windows located on all 5 sides in order to give the engineers inside a good view of the base layout, its construction, and the surrounding environment. On top of the roof is a fan for ventilation of the building interior, and on the back is a ladder to allow workers access to the roof. While the overall design of the construction yard is simple, it meets the demands that both Allied and Soviet commanders need in order to establish a frontline base quickly, one that can both establish defenses as well as produce troops and vehicles to engage the enemy with. The construction yard is capable of operating in various environments, from warm temperate climates to cold snow-covered climates. The construction yard is the most important building of a commander's base, for without it, the commander cannot construct more buildings to expand their base with, or to rebuild buildings that have been destroyed. Because of this, it is important that the construction yard be provided with adequate defenses. By default, the structure itself is made of mostly steel and brick, which provides protection against basic infantry weapons, but won't hold up long against tank rounds or missiles. Extra defenses, such as sandbags, can be added on or around parts of the building itself. A commander should surround the building with infantry and vehicles, although some of those infantry and vehicles may be better used fighting on the battlefield. Defensive structures such as anti-infantry and vehicle turrets can be built around the construction yard itself. Though these kinds of defenses cost power to operate and are best placed strategically elsewhere around the base. Another way to provide defenses around the construction yard is just to place other base buildings around it, such as barracks, war factories, or power plants and silos. This creates a natural set of defensive structures around it, requiring that the enemy faction destroy this outer layer of buildings first, before being able to target the construction yard itself. Though not all enemies may be content with just destroying it. A sneaky commander may try to have an engineer capture the building in order to use it against the other, or to sell it off for some extra money. The best defense, of course, is a combination of all the things just mentioned, with sandbags and turrets on the outer perimeter of the base, and other buildings within that perimeter surrounding the construction yard, with possibly a few troops and vehicles placed throughout the base. While the construction yard provides all the materials needed to construct a base, what it does not provide is the money needed to pay for that construction, or the power needed to keep any additional buildings functioning. And the only way for a commander to make money is to establish a refinery to gather and process nearby resources. So the first building needing to be constructed has to be able to provide enough power to not only run the refinery, but also all future buildings yet to be constructed. And just like with the construction yard, both Allied and Soviet engineers came up with a couple of designs to meet these power demands.